Hi everyone, I'm Suyan. I'm the English instructor at masterAIB, and today we'll be looking at a language and literature paper 1 example focusing on advertisements. So what we're going to do is I'll be reading out loud the advertisement on the left, and then we'll be going through a very brief 10-minute sample analysis on the overall text. The guiding question of this paper is how do the visual and textual elements in the advertisement released in Dubai 2013 contribute to promoting the product? Fanta, like a burst of sunshine through a cool wisp of wind, it's sweet and tangy, surprising and juicy. It tickles like a delicious secret that you cannot bear to share. And how lush it feels at every sip, like an instant whiff of a fresh bouquet of flowers in spring. With a quick, sharp jolt of tart and a sudden burst of sugary, citrusy sweetness, it leaves your tongue tingling pleasantly. Then it curls deliciously around your taste buds, tantalizing your imagination, and ripples happily down your spine. Are you still with us? Great, because we would like you to try Fanta's new taste, deliciously orange. Yes, right now. Just tear off a piece of this page, pop in your mouth, and enjoy a Fanta by tasting this ad. Now that we've looked at the guiding question and read through the entire text, let's move on to a more planning stage where we identify the visual and textual elements of the text. One thing that really helps me a lot when I'm brainstorming for my ideas is to identify the audience and purpose of the text. The audience here is pretty straightforward because it is mentioned in the guiding question that it was released in Dubai, which instantly narrows down our audiences to those living there. So our audience would be those living in Dubai. And our purpose for advertisements are usually to promote and sell their product. Their product here being Fanta's new taste, their new flavor. But for this one, if you paid close enough attention, you would realize that there's this part that says, just tear off a piece of this page, pop in your mouth, and enjoy a Fanta by tasting this ad. I believe that this is the most essential and important part of this text that lets us know that this advertisement is indeed edible. It's a very important and unique characteristic of this advertisement that we should bear in mind as we move on to our analysis. Firstly, we'll look at the visual elements, then we'll move on to the textual elements. For our visual elements, let's look at the colors used first. So we can see that the signature color of Fanta, orange, many shades of oranges are used throughout this text. But the most vibrant color is the orange used for the background, which has the deep contrast with the font color used. So the background color is orange, and the font color is white. Let's look at the various fonts and font sizes used as well. So if we look at tongue tingling over here, it really looks like the font is showing us how the tongue is tingling, right? Showing us that sensory part. Ripples happily down your spine has 2 lines like this. What does this remind you of? Doesn't it look like the shape of your spine? Things like this, the fonts that match to the context of the phrases. And if we look at the advertisement overall, where is your eye mostly drawn to? The most important part, correct? So we can see that this part is capitalized, also in bold, use the largest font for the most essential part of the ad that links to the ultimate purpose. The purpose being the audience tearing that piece and then trying the flavor themselves and then leading to their ultimate purchase. If we think about it, the majority of the people wouldn't really have the time to read the entire ad, right? It's quite lengthy and wordy as well. But the author of this advertisement made the choice to illustrate the most important part in bold, capitalized, and using the biggest font size. So the most important part is most catchy to the eye, leading the curiosity and interest to spark, and prompting excitement for the audience to participate in this process. The logo of Fanta over here is also straightforward. Anyone can instantly recognize anywhere that it is a Fanta ad. There are also a lot of use of icons that are appealing to the eye. You can see the sun, the many oranges, the wind, the wheel, the mouse, the bird. And all of these icons also match to the context of the phrases. The taste buds next to the bird, the curls next to the wheel, the wind and the mouth. They're very relevant to the context. These icons and the ultimate purpose of the text are a very much of a friendly appeal, especially for children. Why? Children will be really up for this idea of trying this advertising, right? Maybe not all adults would want to, but children will be the most willing to tear that piece off and try the new flavor themselves. So this is a very persuasive technique that allows people to be inclusive in that process, but also using icons and something visual to lead them there as well. Let's move on to the textual element scene. There are various use of similes in the overall advertisement. It also starts with one. It says, like a burst of sunshine through a cool wisp of wind, right? Other than this, there's also the one that says, like a delicious secret that you cannot better share, like an instant whiff of a fresh bouquet of flowers in spring. Let's look at the audience. Our audience is those living in Dubai. Considering the warm and hot weather in Dubai, the use of these similes and their sensory influences, including the sunshine, the wind, the freshness, are highly effective in advertising the product. If we think about the thirst and the heat and how they're related closely, and this is further influenced with the positive diction choices in the advertisement. The refreshing and optimistic aspects of the drink is emphasized through adverbs and adjectives, including pleasantly over here, deliciously over here, and adjectives including sweet, tangy, fresh, sugary, citrusy, etc. So all of these positive diction choices are included in the text. But one may ask, so what? How does this shape any meaning? Why is it important? Remember that this shaping meaning is part of our very important rubric. Taking into context the audience's location, Dubai, creating a positive image in the audience's mind would be effective in promoting the product, as I said, including taking into consideration the thirst, the curiosity, and the funness of the process. The part over here, the most important purpose, tear off a piece of the page and enjoy the Fanta by tasting the ad. This part creates a very positive image of the drink due to the fun fact that the ad itself is edible. The audience will be drawn effectively to the advertisement when they see them instantly and try the act themselves. Tearing that piece off and trying it, trying the flavor would ultimately result in their purchase. And that leaves them that positive memory as well, right? So that's a part of that persuasive and advertising technique. Lastly, let's look at the various use of punctuation. The punctuation, including the exclamation mark here and the "Are you still with us?" the question over here, it adds to a sense of joy and positivity, as well as stressing the technique of inclusion, bringing the audience to the moment, sharing that moment with other people. Are you still with us? Great. Yes, let's do this right now. That kind of technique, adding on to the enthusiasm, really effectively draws the audience to that situation. So today we've looked at an entire advertisement together. We've looked at the visual and textual elements, and I hope that gave you an idea how to start brainstorming for paper 1 assessment. I hope that helped. Thank you.